not surprising at all that Iran has downplayed the attack last night. And we have to hope that Israel will leave it at that and hasn't got other measures up its sleeve to rub home the message which it has sent by the attack last night. Of course, that attack hasn't changed either the strategic or the tactical situation. Iran knew that its facilities were within reach of Israeli action. There is a message from Israel: we're not afraid to attack your own territory, in the way that you were not afraid to attack our Israeli territory. But that is about as far as it goes so far.
US officials have confirmed that Israel carried out airstrikes against Iran in the early hours of Friday. Israel has yet to issue a statement on the incident, while Tehran has so far downplayed the scale of the attack, saying it has no immediate plans for retaliation. Here's Prime Minister Rishi Sunak speaking earlier.
The situation overnight, as you would appreciate, it's a developing situation. It wouldn't be right for me to speculate until the facts become clear, and we're working to confirm the details together with allies. We have condemned Iran's reckless and dangerous barrage of missiles against Israel on Saturday, and Israel absolutely has the right to self-defense. But as I said to Prime Minister Netanyahu when I spoke to him last week, and more generally, significant escalation is not in anyone's interest. What we want to see is calm heads prevail across the region.
Well, is this a sign that we're inching closer to a full-blown regional conflict? Well, we can speak now to Sir Richard Dalton, who's a former UK ambassador to Iran. Sir Richard, thank you for joining us on the programme this afternoon.
Good morning.
In terms of what we know, we have had confirmation from America of this attack, but both Israel and Iran are staying pretty tight-lipped. So do we have any sense of the scale of it?
Something definitely happened, but it was clearly a pretty small affair. We don't know whether it was a missile or drones. If it was just drones, clearly the explosive capability of a quadcopter, which has been mentioned, is pretty limited. It could be that in the next few days, news of significant damage will leak out. But one very important indicator came from the head of the International Atomic Energy Agency, which has staff on the ground in Iran monitoring Iranian facilities, and he said that no Iranian facilities connected with their civil nuclear program were attacked.
In terms of Iran's sort of sphere of influence, there has been a lot spoken about since those October the 7th attacks and what's been going on in terms of the operations in Gaza, of the kind of malign influence that Iran has in the region, of how it sponsors proxies in the region, of what its involvement may have been on the October the 7th attacks itself. Is it surprising then that the official word from Tehran is that they're not planning any retaliation to this? Because everything leading up to this point, the international community's supposition has been that it's in Iran's interest for this to escalate.
No, I don't think anybody has been thinking that it's in Iran's interest. They've taken their cue from sound analysis that Iran is not in a strong position to wage a conventional war and has not sought to egg on Hezbollah. It has not sought to enter the conflict in Gaza. For a while, it it encouraged pinprick attacks, particularly on American facilities by its allies in Iraq and Syria. But at this stage, it's not surprising at all that Iran has downplayed the attack last night. And we have to hope that Israel will leave it at that and hasn't got other measures up its sleeve to rub home the message which it has sent by the attack last night. Of course, that attack hasn't changed either the strategic or the tactical situation. Iran knew that its facilities were within reach of Israeli action. There is a message from Israel: we're not afraid to attack your own territory, in the way that you were not afraid to attack our Israeli territory. But that is about as far as it goes so far.
So sorry, in terms of my original question then, so are you suggesting that Iran has been a good faith actor throughout all of this, and it hasn't been working with proxies? I'm just trying to be clear.
No, I'm not suggesting that. They have been. I told you that they had supported and encouraged their allies to attack the United States, but they have, with Hezbollah, not been keen on opening a significant front against Israel, which they have the capability of doing. It's important to step back and look at the region as a whole, which is roiled by civil war and conflict, Iraq, Syria, Yemen, and to look at who's actually involved across their borders. Yes, Iran is, and you can stigmatize that as destabilizing if you wish, but also one should think about the destabilizing effect of Israeli actions, particularly in the West Bank, in seizing more land, in killing, in arresting, in provoking Palestinian population there by continuing its apartheid-like activities. You also would want to refer to Turkish actions in northern Iraq against Kurds. You cast your mind back to the Saudi UAE invasion of Yemen, which caused immense loss and suffering and exacerbated the civil war there. You might even point to United States assistance to Israel, which, in spite of United States reticence and caution about what Israel is doing in Gaza, continues unabated. So there are a lot of destabilizing actors at work, and these conflicts have to be settled one at a time, starting with Gaza, which is the most acute source of instability at present.
Well, Richard, I did want to get on to the role of the US in this, because we've heard from Antony Blinken, the Secretary of State, in the last hour. He's been speaking at the G7, and he was very clear that the US weren't informed about this till the very last minute, and they certainly took no part in it. The kind of the way they've been talking to and about Israel has hardened quite noticeably in recent weeks. I mean, is there a suggestion that things, aren't as that the allyship isn't quite as harmonious as it has been of late?
It's often inharmonious, but still the fact is that President Biden regards America's commitment to Israel's security as ironclad, and we saw that with the coalition of foreign support, which was necessary to assist Israel to fend off the Iranian missile and drone attacks. So yes, the relationship will always be fractious, and the United States has in effect been weak in its approach to Israel. It has not backed up its words. It has said, if you think back, that Israeli action is disproportionate, that if Israeli behavior doesn't change, then United States policy might change. They've opposed the idea of an attack on the Rafah area, but Israel has said that it intends to do that. So clearly it's a vital relationship for the stability and peace of the Middle East, but it's got its difficulties.